So I have a new aphorism. And it's an alliteration also. I didn't realize it at the time, but that was pointed out to me. And that is lose the news. You don't have an obligation to the world to get involved in all the anger and anguish and sadness and manipulation that the news channels would like you to. And the sort of criteria is this good for my mind? Am I happier, calmer, less defiled, more peaceful, more solid after I watch the news or read the news on the internet? And the news is being presented in a really provocative way nowadays. I mean, all these different news businesses are trying to get viewers. And they do that by pushing buttons. Oh,
they're all owned by entertainment companies now,
yeah.
Also.
It is basically an entertainment device. I mean, back when Edward R. Murrow and those people, many, many years ago, they just kind of reported the news. But they weren't competing for market share. They were a legit news establishment that informed the public what's going on. And that's changed, and it's turned into a competitive, money, market share, all that kind of stuff. And so the news has gotten really provocative. I happened to be in somebody's living room recently, and they were watching the news, and the anchor was interviewing a Ukrainian man whose wife and 2 kids had been blown up and killed in the last few days,
Yeah.
And I couldn't take it. I mean, I was like, I was there for another purpose, but with that, hearing that, seeing that, for a couple of minutes, I was distraught almost. I mean, it was really sad. This guy's like 45 years old or something. He had a 18-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter and a beautiful wife and a life and all that kind of stuff. Now, why? I asked the person watching it, how can this guy give an interview?
Yes.
And they said he asked to be interviewed. He wanted his story to go out,
Yes, because he felt that it would be informing people of the atrocities going on there,
Yeah.
and that they would maybe get more support or something.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I feel like I need to know and feel bad that all this horrible stuff is going on for these people,
Yeah.
But you're right,
But
it can
horrible-
really stress. Yeah.
Horrible stuff is always going on. The current horrible stuff is Ukraine, Darfur, South Sudan, Yemen, Iraq, Afghanistan, and on and on and on. There's always horrible stuff. That's the nature of planet Earth.
Well,
And
and there's a ton of horrible stuff going on outside of Ukraine while we're hearing about Ukraine too.
yeah, there's plenty of horrible, there's no shortage of horrible stuff. And the thing about being a Dhamma practitioner is it's a personal thing. You are trying to uplift, improve, purify your mind and your actions. So it may seem selfish or irresponsible to not get involved in every atrocity or horror or something. But from a personal point of view, if it's not good for you, if it's not causing skillful states of mind to arise, happy states of mind to arise, then it's not good to do that. If a little bit of it, if it gives rise to compassion, that's good. If you then turn off the TV and concentrate on compassion, maybe that can be a good outcome. Do loving kindness for those people and compassion for the ones that are suffering, and
maybe some people would you'll make a donation if they were able to help,
yeah, and that's good. That's
refugees.
generous. So I mean, it's not all bad, but man, I mean, if you let your mind get triggered by every unhappy thing or unjust or all that, oh boy, you're going to be triggered all the time. You're going to be angry at them and sad for them, and sadness isn't a wholesome state of mind. It doesn't do anything except make you feel bad. It doesn't change the world that you're sad or angry. There's no benefit to anyone, and especially to you, because that's what you've decided to let your mind be: sad, angry, depressed.
Does your happiness change the world?
Good question.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think it does.
I do too, Jim.
If only because it's absent of hatred and jealousy and
those just that much less.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're not adding to all that. You're denying it.
Yes.
And the more energy you have, the more it will miss your input of anger and so on.
Yeah, you're not feeding.
That's a good point, Jim. And especially if I think of being around someone else whose mind is maybe really caught in that, it certainly wouldn't uplift me. Yeah, being in the presence of someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but if the person is clear and, like Jim says, happy, then you feel that too. So
yeah, and if you're talking to someone like a friend or a neighbor or something who's all distraught or angry or worked up about something, if you're calm and happy, and you can tell, and you can say to them the same things I'm saying right now. It's like, is this? I don't think this is helping you. I mean, it doesn't. It sounds selfish, but it comes back to what the Buddha said: how can one who is himself caught in the quicksand help another out. I mean, if a distraught neighbor comes to you and you're all calm and, you know, peaceful and kind of happy and everything, that's going to help them feel better. But also they're going to probably listen to what you say. You know, you may be able to help them let go a little bit and reduce their emotional burden based on, and it's based on, you know, carefully chosen video and words. It's a product, you know, it's a production, you know. And are people suffering in these places? Yes. I mean, there's no doubt about that, you know. And is it terrible that somebody else is just going there and doing that? Yeah, that's terrible, you know. But don't give up your higher mind states over it. I mean, if you're trying to, you know, working on elevating yourself, then you have an obligation to maintain that training that you're doing, you know, and not just throw it away on something on TV. I think I'm in about the 5th day of losing the news, and it's funny. I thought I'd miss it because I used to, you know, I had different news sites that I went to regularly on the internet, not on television, but and I don't miss it at all. And I thought I'd feel. I mean, a couple of times I felt slightly drawn to go there, you know, but no big deal at all. And if I could do something about, you know, if I could get the parties together in Ukraine and get them to have a ceasefire or something, then yes, it would be good for me to be involved in the information about it and the atrocities and the yada, you know, all that stuff. But I can't, you know, I can't. They're not gonna. They don't want to meet with me to work out their differences. So I just, I don't. I still want to be happy. And by happy, I don't mean ecstatic or something, but I mean have a
Peaceful, yeah.
relatively clear, buoyant, resilient mind, you know, and feeding all that kind of stuff into it. Oh man, that doesn't help at all. And I mean, there's plenty around me, even in my you know, in my immediate environment that I could get sad about or angry about, you know, and I don't do that. So if I don't do that with stuff in my immediate environment, boy, to take on something that's like, you know, 5,000 miles away and completely out of my jurisdiction or, you know, sphere of influence, that it's not skillful, to bring that word back. You know, it's like,
You're right, David.
yeah.
And I remember years ago when I kind of stopped watching television and even the local news. In fact, I had started meditating and got more sensitized to all that.
Yeah.
And I remember like a couple nights watching it and realizing you'd almost be kind of shaking or so. I could feel the influence of that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, again, what's going on now, like since we talked about this, I'm trying to, you know, keep it at a minimum and keep perspective on it. Like this morning I did look at Zelensky, you know, addressing Congress and the film he made. And then I had to watch my mind with some of those horrible images.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Two things. A concentrated mind, you know, if you are meditating, A concentrated mind is very vulnerable. It's like a mirror almost. It's not like a jungle. It's like a mirror. And images and impressions can have a much more powerful effect. Also, if you have some wisdom about suffering and the human condition and those kind of things, it makes you more vulnerable also. So you have to kind of protect yourself if you're concentrated. Another thing is the Buddha spelled out what wrong speech is. And it's not just lying, but it includes talk about, well, from his time, kings and armies. And, that's what Ukraine is about, is kings and armies, kind of not quite kings, but, same idea. All the stuff that like gets talked about around the well in ancient India, now it gets talked about at the, I don't know, Starbucks or the corner something or stuff. But same idea, that this kind of, that it's even wrong speech to get involved in these things. That's pretty, wrong doesn't mean bad necessarily, but it means unskillful, at the very least, unskillful. To be involved in these conversations and this stuff is not skillful for a person set on higher goals. And present day thinking is kind of, you gotta like feel for everybody and get into everyone's mistreatment or lack of respect, or all these different issues and things, and it's just not good for you. And like I say, it sounds selfish, but if you're trying to elevate yourself spiritually, then you're trying to do something different than what most people are doing. And that means you have to guard your mind and be very aware of the content that's rolling around in there, and where it goes and all that. That's and that's what mindfulness is about, is watching your mind states. God, this Mahasi book that I discovered, that I had, a rare book from 1959. Boy, he says don't miss one as far as mindfulness. He's talking to meditators though, but I mean, he says don't miss one. He said, if you catch these thoughts in their early stages, they're, for a lot of their life, these thoughts that we have, these impressions and things, for a lot of the life of that thought, it doesn't cause karma. It's not wholesome or unwholesome. It's just sense perception. It's when we take the information, and if you catch it with mindfulness, it ends there. But if you go beyond and let it unfurl, and continue, then it gets into, oh, I don't like that, or that's bad, or that makes me sad, or something like that. Then you're getting into karmic actions. He said, it's like each thought is like a cloth, and it's clean. And if you note it quick enough and and just allow it to pass away, it stays clean. If you go farther with it, it gets stained by mental defilement. It gets stained by anger or prejudice or sadness or whatever. And you can't unstain it. It's done. You can't change it. You can let it never happen with mindfulness. It just, you just don't go there. And that has a tremendous purifying effect, for your mind. I mean, this mind is a conditionally arisen, it's like it's built up on habits. Oh, when I hear that, I get angry. Or when somebody does this, I get sad. And it wants to go there. It's got these habit patterns. It has developed systems of response to stuff. Oh, that makes me jealous, or that makes me angry, or whatever, when these things arise, and we're trying to change that. And you can recondition the mind. Otherwise, how could ordinary people get enlightened? And all kinds of them have. I mean, during the Buddha's time and now and over the last 2,500 years, people, and they were ordinary people and had prejudices and mental, issues and things that made them angry and everything. And they trained their mind, they reshaped their mind so that it didn't conditionally react that way. I mean, that's really about all there is to it. And that's how you purify the mind, is you don't allow it to go bad places, and you encourage it to go good places. And the bad places lose their ranking in the conditioned responses. They're like, they weaken, they're not getting any action. They try, but they can't gain traction. And the good ones do, and you change your mind into something way better. And when you do that, and really succeed at it, you become a force for good in the world. I mean, it's not like, ignoring television makes you a bad person or something. I mean, if you're cultivating goodness, it makes you a force for good in the world, a positive influence, for peace, for tolerance, for happiness, for good things. And that wears, that's contagious too. Just like the evening news is contagious, good stuff is contagious also. You interact with people in a good way for a long time, and they start getting like, yeah, that feels good. I think I'll do that too. It's contagious also. That's how you improve the world. And ultimately, if you get enlightened, that really improves the world. It removes a whole, negative influence, if that's what you were, and adds a positive one. And it's very powerful, very powerful influence. The Buddha says when someone gets enlightened, it's like the clouds, dark clouds pull away from the moon. Well, I mean, that description means it was dark and the clouds went away, and now there's light from, projecting onto the earth. So, I mean, that's good. Yeah, lose the news. You'll be happy if you do.